Well, welcome back to 4th and 3 Dudes. This is episode 15, the episode that we're still not sure we're ever going to get through because this is at least the second time we've tried to start it. But we're here, two of us on video, one of us not. But I am Chris Nama coming to you from here in lovely Peachtree Corners, Georgia, where it's getting quite cold and it's going to be in the low 20s tomorrow morning. But go ahead and introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
Chris Burnett, also known as Bernie Dog, down here in St. Mary's, where we had 2 frost warnings. But now, inching back up in the 70s.
Woo! Must be nice.
And I am Ford. I am hunkered down in the Fairfield Inn, official hotel partner of the NCAA and 4th and 3 Dudes.
I thought it was a Marriott Bonvoy.
Well, that's
the internet service called that.
That's the gold elite level, Bernie. Come on.
Okay. Well, I don't want to lose a sponsor.
Well, we just lost them, so don't worry about it. We just lost them. Nice going.
Oh, did you get anything special for mentioning 4th and 3 Dudes when you checked in there?
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, Chris, because I got 2 free bottles of Aquafina. Can you hear them?
Yeah, can hear them. Can't see them, but we can hear them. I mean,
I had the caps on. I got 4 in front of me right now, and it's going to be a super hydration night.
Well, speaking of super hydration, I'm going in and drinking me a pseudo whiskey sour. Got me some bourbon and got me a blood orange something. San Pellegrino. That's right. Well, I guess they're not going to be a sponsor now. But anyway, I'm drinking on this. It was tough working trying to get in here. Not as bad as it is for Cord there in whatever city he's in, but
Emma's had a hell of a night. Well, I'm going with a vodka tonic. Those are locally, you can barely see them, locally sourced lemons from our backyard. Thanks to Dad. About a year ago, he texted me and said, "Come rescue this lemon tree. It's not surviving." So went and got it, and that's the 5th lemon.
Nice.
So, change it up. Championship week. Let's do it.
Much to Cord's chagrin, there doesn't seem to be very many ice cubes in there.
Well, this is our third take.
Did you get that out of?
It's nearly 70 down here.
Oh my goodness! I mean, Cord would have been refilling that thing with ice several times by now. And
yeah, just like down was cooler down in the basement. Probably the same temperature.
Oh, goodness. And Cord, you couldn't find any alcohol there in lovely Kentucky?
No, it's a dry state apparently. But I did find a really good one that I was going to bring on, but it's a couple states away. It is the Dragon's Milk Oatmeal Cookie Stout. Yeah, very tasty. But I'll show you to it next time. All right.
Okay.
All right, back to the show.
So we're going ahead. Wait, Bernie.
Wait. One more thing. Remember.
You already said that. We just lost our last listener.
Well, we got to get on record. One editorial correction note. Yeah, we had the
damn hip pause
episode. Yeah, mute me. Episode last week went into the ether. Then I was playing golf. Y'all recorded an episode. And I just want to say, I did not root for Florida. I didn't root for Florida.
Splitting hairs.
Again, viewer, listener, this is a game like 2 weeks ago. But Ole Miss lost to Florida. And I don't know what's going on in Fairfield. But I didn't root for Florida. That was incorrect. I don't root for Florida. I wasn't unhappy with the outcome. Because it helped us. That's all I said.
It did.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Cord, you okay? Everything? It sounded like you got attacked by an aardvark or something over there.
Oh, that was my lie detector. It was going off the scale.
Bullshit.
All right. Well, while you're dealing with your lie detector, why don't you go ahead and break down that Beaver game so we can go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off and get through it.
All right, the Beavers. I'll break it down. They had a chance to become bowl eligible the first year, new coach, new team, but they ran into Boise State and didn't quite make it. They lost 18-34 at Boise State. They they had a chance, and I think they could have beat them if they played, what they're capable of doing. But just the first two drives, to break it down for you, is kind of how the game went for them. Beavs kicked off to Boise State, got it in their 19, and Beavs were holding them at the 50-yard line on 3rd and 8, and deep ball down the sideline. They get a pass interference, and Boise State's on their way to the first touchdown. When the Beavs get the ball after that touchdown, the kickoff return to the 41, but there's a holding penalty, which brings them back to the 12. And it's 1st and 10 on the 12. There's a false start. And 1st and 15 on the 7. There's an incomplete pass. Next play, they got a pass that's 2-yard loss. And then 3rd down, false start. And then punt. So I think at one point they were 6 pass completions and 6 penalties. And they either just killed their drives or they extended Boise State's drive. So when you play like that, it's just... And, in their defense, they were in the end zone and the student section was there. And even though it's a little stadium, they were pretty loud. You can hear them on TV. But it was kind of frustrating. And but the first time I got to watch Aston Genty run, and he's a good running back. He may or not win the Heisman. Not sure yet, depending on who he's going against. But that first drive, he ran the ball 8 times and got 35 yards. But, if you give your running back 40 carries a game, he's going to get 200 yards on average per game. If he's decent, you got a good offensive line. But, for those runs on the first drive, Beavers held him to 1 yard or less. And then he had a couple for 3 yards, one for 4, and then a 16 and a 7. So, like I said, he's good, but as far as Heisman, I wouldn't put him up against Herschel or Bo Jackson at all. They just seem a lot more complete, a lot more in control, a lot more devastating runners. But, another fact is that at halftime, he had 106 yards rushing, and the Oregon State running back, Anthony Hankerson, had 99 yards rushing. So like I said, the Beavs had the chance, but it just didn't work out. And I think I quit watching it the third quarter and
called mom.
Went and made it. Yeah, called mom and was crying, and I think ended up making a loaf of sourdough or something like that.
Oh. Yep.
Perfect Friday night.
Yeah. All right. Back to the show.
Made for a Hallmark movie.
Now I'm all depressed again.
Not a really good Hallmark movie, but Speaking of Hallmark movies, goodness gracious, going on to the Georgia Tech game. Woo-wee! There was some happiness.
That wasn't Hallmark. That was Action Network. Oh, Jesus.
Lord.
Not in the first half.
So, yeah, again, I guess you could start off by saying that definitely was not what anybody that was on the Georgia rooting side was truly expecting was going to happen in that game. But I guess going into it to set it up from my side, it was my mom's birthday on Thanksgiving Day. And we met up with her and then met up with my brother-in-law and sister and my 2 nieces. And we were going over their house and we're going to be watching the game and hanging out on the day after Thanksgiving. So I went ahead and told them when I saw them on Thanksgiving Day, I'm like, just to be clear, if things don't go well, I will be leaving your house. And my nieces both looked at me bewildered. And they're like, you wouldn't really do that, would you? And I'm like, well, I most certainly would. So, and then we get to their house on Friday afternoon, started to have a cookout, lovely cookout, eating dinner. Everybody brought some stuff to share too. And we're getting ready for the game to kick off. And they were going by again. They're like, are you really going to leave if this game does not go well for Georgia initially? I go, yes. I go ahead and ask Aunt Christine. They asked Aunt Christine, and they said, and she's like, well, yeah, of course we're going to leave. So, and by the end of that first quarter, looked at everybody, stood up, said, this has been a lovely evening. We got to go. Got to go. Had to get back to my chair with my kegerator, with my beer cooler, where I know we win games. So, anyway. Just for Bulldog Nation, I did everything I could.
That was halftime.
I got elected in the first quarter. and was back at the house when we missed the field goal. But I rolled back into my house, and I was in the basement for the whole second half. And
all to you.
So,
all
right, now I guess that's the key.
Oh my goodness! Well, you know where I'm going to be this Saturday. But anyway, I digress. I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that was out there because, goodness gracious. So, all right, Bernie, go ahead and give us some of your thoughts on at least the way the game went early.
Well, it wasn't comfortable. It wasn't great. I mean, it was like we were complaining about the offensive slow starts. We forgot that sometimes the defense can start slow, and that's what we got. And then slowly, the coaching staff, I think, and made some changes, and I think the players got in the groove of things, and things just started happening. And once we got to overtime, I mean, it was just a weird experience. I think everybody, especially those I've heard that were in the stadium, even it was just a weird experience at night. And I was very heavy on the Dogs because it was a night game, and I think probably the reason we got back into the game was because we were at home under the lights, and we just rode Nate Frazier and had some great calls, and were able to. I mean, Haynes. Well, let's just stop a minute and say Haynes King. That dude is just badass. I mean, he left it. I mean, I lost count of how many times I saw him doing everything but crawl to the sideline, and did everything. You talk about players that's going to leave everything on the field. He did that. A lot of players did that Friday night, but him especially stands out, and we have to give our hats off to him. But the Dogs were resilient, and that's what Kirby talks about. Resiliency and staying up to the task, down after down. And when we got to overtime, I knew we had a chance, and it just kind of worked in our favor. It was just a surreal kind of instant Georgia Tech classic game, and we've seen the Bobo to Corey Allen, and Georgia Tech fans will talk about 1999 when they survived us, but even everybody knows Jasper's knees was down, and
for sure
we'll skip over that. But there's been some classics, and that was, to me, that was a classic game, and I could not. I mean, it finished at 12:30, I forget, and Ains and I high-fived and hugged, and we're screaming, and and so joyous. And the last thing I said was, I can't wait to come out here in the morning and watch the second half again. Not the first half. I'll watch the second half.
Skip right through that.
We'll deal with the first half later, but it was a classic game, and I'm happy that we won and can learn from it.
Yeah. No,
man, Hayes King, he had 303 yards passing and 110 yards rushing.
Yeah.
That guy.
And probably left 2 ribs on the field.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially when Dan Jackson targeted him in the chin.
Hey.
Oh, wait. No.
That was.
But I got to give it to UGA, man. Talk about coming back. They were 27-13 down with 4 minutes left in the game.
And fans leaving the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, those must be the ACC sham fans. But yeah, and they got that touchdown, and then they got the ball back by Jackson. Man, that was impressive.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, like y'all said, Haynes King, that was amazing, the effort he put out there, and it was. It's like, goodness gracious, he is going to do everything. I thought that they were going to be playing the 2 quarterbacks again. I did not expect that his arm had healed enough for him to be able to pass the ball as much as he did. But I mean, again, it was one of those things with a slow start, with a lack of tackling. I mean, that first play they ran from scrimmage, I thought we had them stopped and bottled up for a 1-yard gain or at most
40 yards.
And then he gets 40 yards. But I mean, and then it was the same thing again where the drop passes and things like that. Arian did not have. He had probably one of his worst games of the year. I mean, the Dan Jackson hit and the fumble, and that had to be the longest commercial break I have ever had to sit through. I mean, all I knew is that they were going to come back from that commercial break, and Georgia Tech was going to have the ball. I mean, it's one of those things. I did not mention it out loud to Christine. I did not want to put it in the air, but that's all I could think about.
Yeah,
that's all.
You responded to my text, though.
Oh my goodness! I mean,
yeah.
That hit is one of those where, I mean, it looked like just such a great hit to stop him short. But yeah, then when everybody started reacting when the ball had come out too, I mean, it was just amazing. And then, I mean, Carson had 5 touchdown passes again. I mean, didn't turn the ball over. He was doing everything he could. Again, running back by committee, nobody had an incredibly outstanding game. On the running side, we distributed the ball well to a multitude of receivers, and again, they did what they needed to do in the overtime and in the second half to put us in position. But I mean, in my head, I had fully resigned myself to the fact, especially the point that I knew we had lost the game in my head was when we had the pass interference in that overtime and we gave them the ball at the 1 yard line, and it's like, man, Haynes King is going to walk this ball into the end zone because he has just done such an amazing job. But I mean, Allen, not Corey Allen. Goodness gracious, CJ Allen. That stop he made, he played. Oh my goodness. Him. Yeah, I mean that tackle right there, hit that along with Dan Jackson's, and I mean, and then again Nate Frazier finally punching it in. And then that 8th overtime, it was surreal because, I mean, I think most Georgia fans, I mean, I know all those that left the stadium early. I mean, it was one of those where everybody's trying to figure out what we're going to have to do to beat Texas to be able to make it into the playoffs. But not really thinking we were going to win that game. But it was just an amazing effort in the end, and the Bulldogs pulled it off.
Yeah, and I think we can, maybe in the offseason we can talk about the overtime going to the 2-point conversions because that really changed things. But I really thought before that moment it was the offensive line for Georgia that really kind of turned things around and really kept Carson clean and kept holes open for the running backs to get just enough yards, and that was the key to us getting back in the game in the second half. And it wasn't perfect by any means, even in the second half, but we just needed plays to be made, and Dan Jackson was there, and offensive line was there, and I think we're kind of in a groove to go forward from that and kind of jump off of it and head into the postseason.
Yep.
I think the 2-point conversion for the overtimes was designed so it wouldn't go over to 9 overtimes in one game. So it looks like it worked. But then back to Georgia Tech, their run game, it's based on a lot of misdirection. And whoever's calling their plays, I think they did a great job calling offensive plays.
Oh yeah.
But and that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah.
He's a former Georgia assistant.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Just pooching off Georgia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, what their running backs did, and then what our defense did not do. I mean, they were really good when they get bottled up on one side to be able to reverse the field and go back. And it seems like we lost the backside contain every damn play. I mean, this when they reversed and got back. I mean, it's like nobody was there to tackle them, which was one of the more frustrating parts for me. But speaking of 2-point conversions, and not to harp on it too much, I think we need to throw the damn analytics card out the damn window because that first 2-point conversion. I mean, again, I don't want our coach, to ever assume the other team is going to score another touchdown. Granted, the way our defense was playing, it seemed very likely the other team would, but that's the only reason at that point you're going to go for a 2-point because you figure you're chasing the 24, and you're going to need three touchdowns with 2-point conversions to catch up to them when you're down that 17-6 and try to get it to 17-8 because the 9 points obviously made no sense. And but
hold on.
He was definitely chasing points, and it was a mistake in hindsight. He won't admit that. I think at the time, Ainsley turned to me. I was like, only thing I think is, we had momentum, and he felt like we had what we needed to get 2 points instead of 1. And, and Kirby we trust, and sometimes it, it doesn't work. But,
right.
Can't agree with the end result. It worked out.
At least we burned a 2-point play that we know wasn't going to work in regulation. So
throw that one in the dirt.
Yeah. And so, so I mean, again, we got the win. That's what we needed, and as Joe Tessitore says, I mean, that put us in the playoffs, or at least we hope. So I mean, it looks like we will. But just a great game, and looking forward to what it means for us the rest of the season. So anybody got anything else on that game want to talk about now? Or?
I know that was what 6 straight. I think it was 6 straight.
Yeah, I think.
And the record's 8 that the drought breaker Theron Sapp broke in the 50s. So Kirby's on the roll with Georgia Tech, and I think Brent Key has them, poised. He's kind of the opposite of what they had before. Unfortunately, I wish they kept that guy on, but obviously they hired the right guy. I remember, when Brent Key took over, we were at the game. He was an interim coach, and they took us to the task. And I remember texting our friend Chris Miranda afterwards. I was like, I hope you don't keep him, because that's a physical coach, and that's what we saw. I mean, he has the players now, so this is what we got to be looking forward to in the future with Georgia Tech.
Yeah, no, he is. He's a really good coach, and his team has adopted his mentality. They're definitely a hard-nosed team that's going to be tough to compete with, and I think we got to potentially deal with Haynes King one more year too. Goodness gracious.
No,
he's a junior.
Buy him in the portal, and then you want to play him.
Yeah, Pyron's in the portal. Yeah, I mean, their freshmen already.
And going back to that, I saw before the game a couple of days where they said Philo was not going to play unless they needed him to preserve his red shirt, and I took that as I don't know how at the time, but obviously Haynes King was up at the task, and he told them he was ready. So, but luckily next year is in Atlanta, and it's not at Coach Mark Rick Field. It's in the Benz, where there's more seats for us. So let's fill that stadium up.
Yep.
That's jumping ahead.
That's jumping a little bit ahead. We got some more football to go this year and everything else. But you want to talk about any of the other games from this past weekend, or we just?
Nope. Okay. Ohio State lost.
They suck. South Carolina. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Ohio State, Michigan.
Yep.
Yeah, we want to do locks of the week.
Yeah, we can do locks of the week, so that'll get us that South Carolina game. And
all right, so Cord had Oregon minus 19, and I think they won by 106. So Cord improves to 11-2-1, mostly due to Oregon and Ole Miss.
That sounds like a big score. I must be cheating.
NAMA unfortunately had Arkansas plus 3, and they lost by 7 to Missouri.
Hey, so MIZ, baby.
LOSAR. NAMA falls to the basement 7-7, but I won. I took Carolina over Clemson. Should have taken the money line, but I had the 2.5, so I improved to 8-6, and I have it on authority that Kate sends her well wishes to Cord for the message. It was well received, and that my secret is safe. But I'll go on record and saying probably most of my family would say I would have taken Carolina too.
If they were smart.
So, anyway, that's the way the regular season ends. Cord 11-2-1, me 8-6, barely above NAMA at 7-7. So,
I think
kudos to Cord.
I think moving forward, we're going to have to do more than one lock of the week and just make all the picks. So give me a chance to come back. But
They wants to stack the deck.
Yeah.
Next year, I'll pick with one hand behind my back just to make it fair.
Nice. All right. So Cord's the regular season champion, although I guess Tanner has it on winning percentage. But granted, he only picked one game. But
No, you got to have a 3-game minimum to qualify.
So
bylaws.
Yep.
I guess briefly touching on the final college football playoff rankings before the championship games. Georgia came out at number 5, I believe. So, but of course, our good friends Alabama snuck in at number 11. That's going to be interesting. It's one of those that I think it's created most of the controversy for people talking about all that. But I guess it leaves us in a good position to, even if things don't go the way we want them to in the SEC championship game, we'll still be in good position to even potentially still host a playoff game. So,
yeah.
But anyway, so that's all good. We'll figure it all out. But I guess moving on to this weekend for the SEC championship game. What are your initial thoughts on that?
Well, I think it comes down to. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like we saw in Austin. I think their offensive line is playing better. Maybe that's due to the way we incorporated Muschamp into that off week prior to the Texas game, and we're really able to expose their offensive line, especially. But they've been running the ball really well since we met them in October 19th. Mm-hmm. So it's been over a couple months. So they've been playing a lot better, and I think it's hard to beat a team 2 times in one season. We've experienced that because we lost to Auburn, and what was that, 2017? They kicked our ass on the Plains, and we beat them in the SEC championship game. And then we, a couple of years later, we lost to Alabama in Atlanta, and then we beat them in Indy. This is a little different. We beat them in Austin, and now we're trying to avenge that loss, avenge that win. This Saturday. So I think it's going to take a really good game, and the quarterbacks, I think the edge really goes to Beck because Ewers just seems a little off center. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Sark go more to Arch Manning with the little RPO maybe to get us off our edge and to slow those pass rushers down and see what happens. But I still like us. I think I like our defense better than them. I like field position wise, we have Thorson, and that was a difference in the game in Austin. They give us a couple of turnovers. We had a short field, but we had special teams as well. So I like the Dawgs.
Yep. No, I agree with you. I mean, I still don't think Texas has really played a very good game. I mean, outside of the game, they've still not played anybody that they have done an incredible.
But Namba, they beat Michigan on the road. Michigan beat Ohio State. Ohio State's like one of the best teams in the nation.
I know.
But most talented.
I'm just setting you up.
I know. I mean, again, it's one of those things where I think Beck is trending up. The biggest problem we are going to have, I think, is if Sark does what you said and puts Arch Manning in, because that is, with a quarterback with an RPO option, I think we are screwed. I mean, it's one of those things where it's the tougher thing. Luckily, luckily for us, one of their tackles is actually injured and probably not going to be playing. So even their offensive line might have been improving, they're losing one of their biggest parts of it. But I mean, they're not able to put anybody away. I mean, Texas A&M, Lord have mercy, if they could actually play offense or weren't committing the turnovers they did, I think they had I think that game was really closer. And I mean, they couldn't blow out Kentucky. Granted, we didn't either. But I mean, if we can have the showing of the defense like we had the last time we played them, and Beck can continue, and he had 3 turnovers, he had 3 picks in that last time we played Texas A&M, and we still won by 15. But yeah, we're going to need that defensive effort. We're going to not be able to let them run the ball. But I mean, I think we do better against a team that's more of a traditional running attack, it seems, than the ones with the RPO, even the UMass. I mean, they seem to be doing a little more of that, but I don't know. I do like us. I like us a lot. So
yeah, I agree. I think, but I do think it helps us that we had Georgia Tech last weekend with Haynes King running the ball, and I think if he does go to Arch, I think that is a plus for our defense that they've seen what that type of thing can do coming out. Taking the ball out of the running back's midsection and the quarterback keeping it, and so that's my hope that they can read off of that and be able to react to that and be ready, because I really think I don't think that Quinn Ewers can win this game, and so I think that Sark, he's. I haven't looked at our statistics against Sark, but he's a great offensive mind, and if he has a plan, we got to be ready for it. And so I hope that we are. What you got? Cord?
I've been raising my hand.
We can't see it.
I think rematches favor the first loser. And then if you look at the first game, Georgia was up 23-0 at halftime. How often does that happen? So I think they need to be on. Gosh, I would hate it for Georgia to have a really slow start, like normal, and Texas, really put some offensive schemes in there that kind of confuse the defense and get them some points. So we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I know Kirby in his one of his last press conferences said that Etienne was trending up, that he might actually be back for this weekend. We had Roderick Robinson back for the Georgia Tech game. So at least we're having a little bit more opportunities in the backfield with people running. So again, our offensive line's been doing a great job creating a pocket for Beck, but we've not been opening up the holes like we hopefully we can again. Because that offensive line seems to have been gelling more ever since they've stuck with these last 5 that they've had, which has been great. So I just hope we run
they've been playing well. You're right.
Yeah. I just hope we run a whole bunch of 3 tight end sets. That's the 3 tight end sets with a good running back. Let's just go from there. They seem to be our
1-3 formations.
I know some of the most dependable pass catchers too. So you're a second,
and that's what's helping Beck lately is his tight end core.
Yeah.
They're coming on. They're doing well. They've kind of responded to the offensive line kind of gelling, and blocking went better downfield and catching the ball. So I don't know that we'll see. What's that?
8-yard completion of those guys. They'll break a tackle and yards after contact.
Yeah,
and first
absolutely.
Down. So easy.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Going back to running back, I don't think we'll see much at ETN. I'd be surprised if we do, because the way Frazier's been playing, and we have Cash and Roderick Robinson, I think, is not questionable. Branson is, if I remember that correctly. So, ETN would be nice because he had a great game in Austin. But I think you got to go with who's healthy in this game and just be ready to pound the ball and see what you can get.
Yep. I agree. So, all right. So we're going to do locks of the week, or do we want to pick all the games this weekend? It's going to go the same.
All the games.
I'm not ready for all the games.
You're not ready for all the games? Okay.
No.
Fine.
I have all the games, but I have lock of the week. Whatever I want to do.
All right. Well, I guess we'll I think
I'll pick ornate word if you want.
You'll take 4 and 8. What?
Hold on, I'm pulling it up now.
He's the most sober, and he's hardest to understand.
I know. It's because he's there in Kentucky.
Aquafina. What is an Aquafina?
It's very fine water.
I'll go ahead and say. I'm just going to go ahead and say while he's doing his research, my lock of the week. I've already taken it. I put the money on the line. Dawgs. Money line. Lay the points. I don't give a shit about the points. Money line.
Money line, baby.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'd say Georgia's getting points in that game. Goodness gracious. I mean, yes.
When I saw it, they getting 3 points. And I said, we don't need them. You can have them. I'll take money line.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I mean, yeah, I'm about to say if you're doing it, I do think we have. I mean, especially with that big win we had with Tech, finally being able to pull it off, and we're going to hopefully use that for motivation. And yeah, if you're giving us points, that's just a mistake. To tell Kirby he's an underdog. Hopefully, Muschamp's got a little bit of a hand in the defensive game plan for this week too. So,
well, extra time.
Yeah, I think I'll take them too. So, how about you, Cord?
I am taking the only team to spend $1 billion from Phil Knight and still no natty. Oregon minus 3.5 over Penn State.
3.5. You got?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's minus 3.5 is what I see too.
All right. And Nama, you took money line. Or you're taking the points.
I'm going to take the points. I mean, I got the points, so I might as well get them. But
all right.
I might take the money line as well.
So what are the points now? Is it 3 or is it 2.5?
2.5 is what I see.
Okay.
That's what I see.
All right.
All right, folks.
They have them at +3 right now on Venice.
No,
I put the pencil up. The pencil's going up.
You got your golf pencil. It ain't got no eraser.
Yeah. No, it's got an eraser.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
No, okay, it does.
We go out here.
All right, what you gonna do for the game, Bern?
Well, I'm playing golf in the morning. Should have my winnings by 3. Gonna go home, order a pizza from Green Room, and we'll go get it. Bring it back to the house, sit in comfort, and watch us. Horns down.
Horns down, baby. All right, McCord, you still coming over?
I think so. Is it 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock kickoff, baby. We don't need to worry
Long drive from Grovetown.
Hopefully he's made it back from Kentucky by then.
No, I got to be in Bogart tomorrow night.
Oh, goodness. Is that where Blessed Trinity's playing?
Yeah, Blessed Trinity's playing North Oconee.
Oh, goodness. Goodness. Yep.
Bogart,
all right.
Georgia.
Well, I will definitely be in my chair no matter what on Saturday for that game. So we know I'll be there from the beginning. So the Dogs hopefully will get a
So you're not going to
start.
start at Ann's and then go to your chair?
Nope.
Last week?
Although, again, the flip side was I might need to drive to or fly to Missouri because that's where I was at in a recliner with my charcuterie board and watching the Texas game the last time. So all I know is that I can't even remember the name of the hotel we were staying in, but it was homecoming weekend.
If you do that, you need to take all towards Aquafina money and put it towards your expenses.
That is true. So, I mean, yeah.
What do you mean, like recycling the bottles?
That's going above and beyond, Emma. That's a lot of money.
I mean, it is.
There goes another one.
Gord, you are hydrated. Yep, I'd have to go back to Jefferson City because that's where we stayed after the early kick for Mizzou that day and left when I guess
I said you were at the Red Roof Inn and you said you were at the IHG or something like that.
Oh no. That Red Roof Inn was when I was for Father's Weekend. That was Did
it have a roof?
It had a roof, but that's the one where we went to try to check in. Like, oh, you can't check in now. I'm like, okay, well, what time do I come back and check in? Oh, you can't check in today. I'm like, hold on now. I've already prepaid for this room. And they're like, well, if you pay me cash. I'm like, oh, it's too much now. So anyway, luckily I was able to get my money back and then go back down to Jefferson City and stay there too. That's where it's better to stay when you're there for a Missouri football game anyway. But
was Nick Saban behind the counter saying the check-in's at 3?
No. But
you
nobody
can't use a pool?
You can't use the barbecue. You can't have fun. No.
And dead by 9?
You can't have your money back.
Yep. The servers were down. I'm like, yep, I'm an IT. I've used that excuse before too.
Yeah. So, servers are down.
Yep. All right. Anything else for the common good before we wrap this thing up?
I think that's it. It'd always be Texas.
Hold on.
Curse of the Beaver portal.
Oh.
Michigan State is no longer bowl eligible. They lost to Rutgers last weekend, 41-14.
Goodness.
Makes me happy.
How does Silas Bolden doing, too?
Oh, he's working on salting the French fries.
For Texas?
Oh. Yeah, he went down there to Texas to get a lot more exposure, and I think I sent you that tweet where he's only got, maybe 9 catches or something silly like that.
Yep. All right. Well, very well. Well, wherever you are going to be watching the game this weekend, be sure to have your trusty recliner and your favorite drink with you so you can root the Dawgs on to victory. We'll come back to you next week after this once we figured out where the Dawgs will be playing next and talk about that. We might be able to get into some of the recruiting news from signing day this past week and look forward to what we think about is going to happen in the playoffs. So until then, go Dawgs.
Go Dawgs.
I hope the Ducks lose.